I hate these people so much.
Yeah, it's
God.
really, really, really bad. Every single thing. Going over this J6 stuff, going over the other court shit, going over... Bro, everything... Do you remember the whole ordeal with, like, Jeff Sessions?
Yeah.
All of it is so crazy. Every single part of it is insane. The, like, Sessions won't influence this investigation, and this mother accused him. Oh, by the way, there are so many... Here's something that I'm really worried about, that I'm, like, mindful of. Because if you go back, like, 5 or 6 or 7 years... Wait... Are we 2024? Sorry. If you go back like 8, 9, 10 years ago, I also like hated conservatives. I don't know if it's the same type of hatred on it, but I also hated them. Could I have ever seen a difference back then? I wish I could go back and ask myself back then, like, hey, do you think that people that like George Bush like their country? Like, do you think these are patriotic Americans? I wonder if I would say like, no, because they hate BLM or they hate gay people. I don't think they like America. I wonder what I would say. Because when you've got scumbags, because they are scumbags, people like Jeff Sessions and people like Bill Barr, who these guys wouldn't even go near the Trump shit. Like, what does that say about Trump, you know?
I agree. And I think that people are missing a key point here, which is I don't even think it's appropriate for the president to have been involved in this voter fraud conversations at all.
No.
Right? Like, even the fact that the attorney general is reporting to the president about the state of investigations regarding an investigation into an election in which he is a candidate, where he stands to gain. I even think that is like arguably, and no one talks about that. Everybody,
because it also requires a whole bunch of, like, now that I have such a better structure in mind of like civil or civics, just like the structure of the government, like the phone call with Raffensperger, period, was bad.
Smoking gun.
That phone call should have never been made. Nothing even going beyond what was said. That's just a phone call that should never be made. And then also, I didn't realize in the past how egregious it is and how presumptive it is when Trump's personal lawyers, not White House lawyers, personal lawyers, are saying things to jury like, well, if you guys would make the data available to us. Like, imagine me calling like a Secretary of State and saying like, you guys haven't made all of your data available to us. Like, how can we know if there was voter fraud? Like, why the f would they ever do that? Like, yeah, all of it is so egregious.
I wish... I'm going to make a Twitter space at some point, whether it's today or some other day. I think it would be a lot of fun for you and I to invite the people to give their strongest claims of election fraud in the 2020 election. It's actually insane how often you just hear about the black boxes, the black suitcases, and it just grounds down to that. That was such effective propaganda.
Yep. Do you know that came out December 3rd? Do you know when that was debunked?
I assume very quickly. I know that
it was either there was a story that went out on December 3rd, the day of, and then the next day in the morning, there were like 5 stories out with the Secretary of State and the COO coming out. Sperling, I think. Right, I have to go back and look up his name. But yeah, that was debunked the next day. That narrative carried through all, and Trump is still repeating it on January 6th, by the way.
Makes me sick.
Also, if you look at another thing too, God, I wish I could double the hours in the day. There are so many videos where if you watch these guys and their testimony, it's insane. So that black box, do you know, I think her name was Jackie Deacon? Jackie Pick Deacon? Have you heard this name before?
No.
She was one of the attorneys that was doing the presentation to the Georgia committee. That was the first one that showed the tape, that showed the black box stuff. As this piece of shit, Jackie Deason, as she's presenting the tape, okay, you can watch. It's a 6-hour video. Nobody watches this shit. Like, you can watch her on the tape saying, they go all the way up to like 9:59 p.m. You can see the ballot boxes sitting on the table, and then she tells them to fast forward it by 25 minutes, and then she tells them to fast forward it by another 10 minutes, and she's like, and now look, now they're going to pull ballot boxes out. And she even says, we checked this whole video. We have no clue where the ballot boxes came from. We have no idea where they came from. It was right in the 30 minutes that you skipped.
And like, she purposely omitted that part. That is a malicious lie.
Yes.
That is malicious.
All of it is lies, super duper ultra lies. And it's obvious because the next day, that night, they were debunked because the guy just goes to the video. He's like, oh, look, here they are. There are the boxes. They're being put under the table. And then they were brought back out. And she's pretending like we have no idea where these came from, right? You saw,
She's on X. I'm going to add her, and I'm going to follow her now.
Who? The Jeffrey Clark guy blocked me. Oh,
he blocked me too.
Yeah. You know what? Did you know that he was the acting attorney general for 2 hours?
Yes.
He
Yes.
it was in his hearing.
The call logs and did he admit to it?
It was in the call logs, yes. And it was also in his disciplinary hearing. Some guy linked me the 6-hour hearing. It was like 250 views. Okay, I don't know why. I love my fans. In the hearing, Jeffrey Clark's person that's representing him in front of this disciplinary hearing, he says that Jeffrey Clark was never the acting attorney general. And then an hour later, he corrects himself. And he says, I just want to correct the record. I'm sorry. There was a brief period of time where he was the acting attorney general. So Trump had actually promoted him until that meeting that night where half the DOJ threatened to quit.
If we don't have criminal laws that would put him away for the rest of his life for doing what he did, then we have a humongous hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to start a weekly crap on conservative spaces.
True.
It would be fun.
Yeah, that platform is spooky to me though, man.
Because they will say like the N-word.
No, because I don't know how much of it is real and the people that I'm talking to. And now I'm even more mindful.
You think that everyone's Russian? It's everywhere though.
Well, like when I said it before, I'm going to be honest, because people keep giving me credit like I'm some like truth sayer or some like predictor or whatever. Okay, listen, not to undermine, my own massive brain. I didn't actually think.
But you were predicting it. There's so many clips of you saying you're getting paid by Russia.
Yeah, but I didn't actually think it was like the holy shit, bro. That's what? No, what the fuck? That's crazy. It wouldn't have surprised me if there are some people, there are foreigners, and I know there are offers made to some people. So like that Ian Miles Chung, trillion%. Okay, people like this, yeah. But like that type of reach, that's really spooky, my dude. You understand how scary that is? How weird that is?
Ian Miles Chong emote in your community? Based. Why do you have this?
I have no idea. Ultra handsome man based. That's really crap. You understand how weird and scary and spooky that is?
It's really spooky. What do you think about Elon? You think he's compromised?
I don't know. I have no clue. That's weird. Elon's treatment of X has probably been some of the largest amounts of damage that have been done to the media environment in recent U.S. history has been done probably by Elon Musk himself because he's triggered. I'm hoping it's because he's triggered, not because he's like foreign compromised.
God.
I'm actually really surprised. It's so crazy, man. You want to talk about the government is too restrictive. I wonder if any other country in the world would allow that to happen. Do you think that France or Britain, and before this has happened, well, I guess we have all the largest social media platforms. Do you think a country would allow one of their largest social media platforms to be purchased by a foreign national and made private? Like
maybe not, but we're based.
That's wild, bro. That's insane.
But is it
I don't know if there's a single country on the planet that will let that happen. That's crazy.
So we need to enforce these laws.
Also, I'm sorry, what is the argument for every single part of the executive branch not having criminal immunity?
I don't think there's a good one.
Why would it not flow down? Like at the very least, like your VP and your cabinet should have criminal immunity, right?
I don't think there's a good one because your entire argument is kind of structured in this policy incentive, vigor, whatever you want to say. And if that's your entire policy argument, and if you believe that the president is a unitary branch unto himself, which is the assumption of this entire opinion, which is the president is the only person who's an entire branch, then everyone who exercises the executive authority is merely exercising
authority on your behalf.
Which only exists because by virtue of the president. And so how can they exercise that power with less immunity than what the president receives? It would be totally...
Because let's say the president has to make a decision about how to like prosecute something or how to do any part of his job, right?
He only operates through agents.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. If his agents don't have the same vigor and power as he does, maybe his agents will be paralyzed in fear. It's actually an insane decision, and it can't go away unless we get a constitutional amendment, right? Because it's a Supreme Court decision, so it can't be. No law can get rid of it.
Based justices. I totally agree. Like, think about this. Imagine that Congress passed a law that said it shall be illegal for any person in the executive branch to facilitate a presidential pardon, which is done for X reason, right? Then you're not criminalizing what the president's doing. You're just criminalizing, and you say, well, it's still a valid pardon, it's still this or that. But everyone who tries to facilitate that pardon, put it into being, publish it, or take it at all, that is a crime. Do you really think that this court would say, oh no, that's kosher? Congress can do that. No, but like obviously the president, when he acts or when they act, future female president Kamala Harris, when they act, they do so oftentimes through agents and through people underneath them. So I actually don't understand why the lower executive officials don't have executive immunity. I was so pissed. You know what? I'm calling them out.
Lactoid?
Wick.
Oh.
No. Wick.tv.
Oh, no.
The original lobbyist. He stopped us from pushing that guy, Ryan. Remember? We were like going down a train on whether or not the SEAL Team 6 hypo would carry through. And he just cucked us. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
What's he doing?
Good question.
Why?
Probably
why
taking money from the Trump campaign. I'm sorry.
I honestly can't. When he was like, yeah, they could pack the court with 10,000 Supreme Court justices and I wouldn't be in favor of doing it back. What's going on with these people? Tell me. You were one of them.
Yeah, I think it just depends on if you think the court right now is legitimately comprised.
Comprised?
Yeah, right? Or would it be composed? Wouldn't it be comprised because it's comprised of the justices? Or am I wrong?
You mean compromised or you mean comprised?
No, legitimately comprised.
Oh, I'm the bad person. Okay, yeah, I understand. Legitimately comprised.
Yeah, if it was, then, like, just to be clear, I'm still anti-court packing, motherfucker. The only reason I'm pro-court packing right now is because I think the court has already been severely compromised.
Yeah. But that's me too. I don't think that this should be like our steady state. And if there were a kind of amendment process to set things right, or to structure it in a way that it's truly, quote unquote, fair, then I would be in favor of that over any kind of legislative decision. But that's been my position for years. You know, one of our first conversations was about the Supreme Court.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's one of the first times. You're like, I like this Pisco guy.
Cringe.
That was like 4 years ago.
Wow. That's a long time.
Can you believe? Yeah, good.
Oh, I was just going to say, I hate that Lactoid guy.
You hate him?
I get so triggered whenever I hear conservatives talk about like originalism in the text.
Well, he bit the bullet. I actually like Lactoid because he bit the bullet. He's like, yeah, I think Brown v. Board has a lot of problems.
That is true. I'm glad he said that. Yeah, I short-circuited out because I didn't expect him to. I was like, oh, I actually didn't expect him to do that. I was like, oh, no. It was like when I was debating that abortion lady, and I was like, if you replace somebody's head, would it be the same person? She's like, yes. And I was like, oh, wait, me. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I didn't expect he would bite the bullet on that. Yeah, Jesus.
Wild. But because Brown v. Board is considered like untouchable precedent.
Dred Scott is considered one of the worst ruling of all time, isn't it? I'm making that up. Okay.
But and someone correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that the civil procedure holding of Dred Scott is still operable. It's still good law. And that is the following. In order to be a citizen of the United States of America, in order to be a citizen of a state in the United States of America, you must be a citizen of the United States of America. So this was the big kerfuffle. They wanted to sue a slave owner in federal court, but the federal jurisdiction, if you go to Article 3, only extends jurisdiction in certain cases, right? In like involving ambassadors, that kind of thing, or federal law. But among people of citizens of different states, there's what's known as diversity jurisdiction for federal courts. And so Dred Scott says, I want to sue the former slave owner. I want to sue the someone in federal court, and I'm a citizen of a different state. And one of the holdings of the court in Dred Scott was, you're not a citizen of the United States. Sorry, you're not a citizen of a state because you're not a citizen of the United States because you're black.
Damn.
That's pretty harsh. But yeah, that's still good law. In order to be a citizen of a state for purposes of diversity, you need to be a citizen of the United States. And if you want to be use the alienage jurisdiction of the federal courts, you have to be a non-citizen. There's someone in disagreements.
I appreciate that, Destiny.
All right, bye.
Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.